People quite often ask me if I have favourites. We have 70 birds here at the centre, and at least 25 of those are birds that we fly on a regular basis, and people quite often say to me, do you have a favourite? My name is Mark Birdsall and I run Baytree Owl and Wildlife Centre. So I came here, the centre's been here for about 35 years, but I came here 11 years ago. At that point there weren't any other birds other than owls. It was called Baytree Owl Centre. There was about 40 owls, and sort of when you come around to visit, you see we have about 70 birds now. The other birds that are put in are non-owl species. So we have eagles and vultures and kites and falcons. And then we've also started adding what we call non-raptor species, so birds that aren't birds of prey. So we have some kookaburras, we have the raven, we have a species called a tawny frogmouth. And all these birds, basically, out of all the birds we have here, any bird you see on its own, so about 25 birds make up our flying team, and the other birds are together as breeding pairs. This raven, her name is Doodles. She's 7 years old. I actually breed ravens, and she was one of the very first ravens that I ever bred. And when we had a clutch of 5 babies, we were raising them in the house, and my youngest was only a year old at the time. And out of the 5 babies, Doodles used to play with him all the time. The babies were raised in the conservatory, and at the time my youngest child had a Thomas the Tank Engine station affair going on, and Doodles used to spend ages, he'd stand by the crane at the top and he'd wind the crane up, then she'd grab hold of the hook and pull it back down again, and then he'd wind it back in, and they spent ages playing, doing the crane. And then also he had a plastic till that had, so he would basically put coins in it and it would drop down into the tray at the bottom, and when they were ready for it, it had like a card that you'd shoot across the till, and the drawer flew open and all the coins flew out, and at that point Doodles would go around and pick all the coins up and bring them back to him so he could carry on playing. And we sort of, through that purpose, none of the other 4 did anything like that with him, and we sort of then just felt that she was the bird that we should keep back to join our flying team at that point. Peaky Blinders came about during lockdown in COVID. One of the filming companies came to me and said that they had an idea for one of the final scenes of Peaky Blinders, and a lot of the other people who we normally send out sort of corvids for work, if you like, where I know that she doesn't wear any equipment, which is helpful for a bird, obviously, that needs to look like a wild one. We went with ours. We did a little bit of practice over about a week. She did it very well. First take, we did straight away, and from there we actually did 4 or 5 extra takes because she did so very well in the first one. As a rule of thumb, I don't generally have favourites, but Doodles sort of craves so much attention that she inevitably was always going to be my favourite bird. You know, we'll quite often, most days I'll go in and we'll share a brew and a sausage roll, and we'll have a little chat about the day, and we'll see what's going on. Whereas me and her have such a different bond and a very close working relationship, as well as it being about food, she also just is happy to come and spend time with me. So me and her, I'll go in the aviary, she'll come and sit on my arm, sit on my shoulder, and she'll chatter away, and quite often we'll have a little conversation outside the aviary. So yeah, she probably means sort of more to me than, sort of as harsh as it sounds, more than a lot of the other birds that I fly.